How's it going, guys? It's Sel here, and this is my unboxing of the Huawei Y7 Prime 2019. The Huawei Y7 Prime 2019 is one of Huawei's mid-range smartphones that came out in January of 2019, and in this video I'm going to be unboxing it. I'm going to be doing a quick review, sort of an overview, and my first impressions of what I think about this device. Without further ado, let's get to the video. In the box of the Huawei Y7 Prime, you have the device itself with the highlights up front, that is the 6.26-inch dew drop display, the 16 megapixel front camera, the 4000 mAh battery, the 3GB RAM and 32GB storage. We'll get to the device later. Inside the second box included, you see the SIM ejector tool, the quick start guide, the pouch, and a screen protector. Further down is where we have the charging cable, a wall adapter, and a pair of headphones. That's it for what's in the box. And when we peel the wrap off the Y7 Prime, we have the full view LCD panel, and peeling off the back shows you the polycarbonate back. And I have mine here in coral red. Booting up the Y7 Prime took a little while, and setting it up took just over a minute. From here, we have the Android 8.1 running on Huawei's EMUI 8.2 skin. It's 8.1mm thin and is just 0.3mm thicker than last year's version, the Y7 Prime 2018, which I think is possibly because of the battery. Up front, you've got the 16 megapixel front camera and the earpiece, which are the most obvious things here. But looking deeper, we've got the notification LED, a light sensor for face unlock, and even the front facing flash. And the fact that you can't see all these things right away even makes me like the Huawei Y7 Prime 2019 more. And because of this, it scores really high for design in my book. It's got a 720p display, and you get the chain with Huawei's logo. On the right, we have the power button and the volume keys, and on the back we have the 13 megapixel camera and 2 megapixel depth sensor up front, the flash, and the fingerprint reader. While on the left we have the dual nano SIM slot with an extra SD card slot which expands your storage by 512 gigabytes. All in all, it feels okay in the hand really, and the polycarbonate body is quickly overshadowed by that coral red vibe we have going on here. As I mentioned earlier, on here we've got a 720p display, and for exact specifications we have a 1520 by 720p display. It's a 19:9 aspect ratio display with a PPI of 268, which is just okay for most cases. Looking at the device, you might not notice anything about the display really. It looks just fine, but putting it under the camera shows you some pixels. As far as color accuracy, the device does a decent job, and you can see that when you use it. Video playback on YouTube was decent. While watching videos in full screen may hide some of the details, at least you don't get distracted by the notch. And as you've probably guessed, YouTube videos are capped at 720p. Now, speaking of the notch, you can choose to hide it if you don't want it, or you can choose to show it if you do. And what Huawei does is simply mask the area with black, and if you put enough light, you can tell that something is off. Also, here's a screenshot of what it looks like when the notch is hidden and when the notch is shown. On here, the Huawei Y7 Prime 2019 comes with the Snapdragon 450, which is a 14nm chipset, clocked at 1.8 GHz, and it runs on the Adreno 506 GPU. You got 3GB of RAM and 32GB of storage, a 4000 mAh battery which is capable of fast charging, and that's pretty much it. You can unlock the device via fingerprint reader, face unlock, or a pattern and passcode, of course, and they all perform just fine. Setting up the fingerprint is quite easy to do, and it works most of the time when it does. It responds quickly too, and face unlock was also easy to set up as well. It's quite fast to unlock, and to unlock it you need an additional swipe up, kind of like the iPhone 10. In comparison, the iPhone XS Max and the Y7 Prime have almost similar lock speeds. All of this is built on Android 8.1, and my unit here came with a December 2018 Android security patch update. And so far during my use, I haven't noticed anything off about this device. I didn't notice any lag during my first day of use, and games ran quite smoothly on the Y7 Prime. The colors looked quite accurate as well. I noticed that it took a while for some apps to load back up again, but you can mostly attribute this to the RAM of this device, so probably clearing the cache can actually help in some ways. As far as picture quality goes, of course it's a mid-range smartphone and you may not get the highest in terms of camera quality, so to speak, but the Y7 Prime does a good job in the right lighting. We've got a 16 megapixel camera, and at the back we have the 13 megapixel camera with 2 megapixel depth sensor. Camera modes are mostly the same on here for the front and the back cameras, except for the aperture mode, which simulates a bokeh effect which only works on the back camera, and you can even download more modes. The Y7 Prime does a decent job of separating the foreground from the background, and it's also got AI mode which can identify objects in camera and tweak the settings to adjust it. In portrait mode, or aperture mode as Huawei is calling it, it does a decent job, and if you zoom in you'll notice there's a little bit of struggle with the edges. For more macro shots, this device picked up a lot of details and I was very impressed with it. It's got a decent dynamic range that might seem a little bit more saturated in the grains, but the sky details are also there. Basically, with adequate lighting, you'll be able to get some good shots out of it. And in low light situations, especially with selfies, you'll have to struggle with some noise here and there. And even if there's enough light, you have to deal with a little bit of exposure if you don't know how to control the shots. As far as my verdict, I like the fact that Huawei was able to cram as much into that top part of the phone while keeping the overall look to be very compact. It's a very good design. I like it. I'm not really sure I've seen it in any other phone. If you have, please let me know in the comment section down below. And this design just makes it look flush and well-rounded. I'll update you guys on Twitter if anything changes, but I'll save my thoughts for a different video. As far as pricing goes, I'll leave all the pricing details in the description below. Anyway, that's it for now. If you do have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to respond while I build my case for this device. If you like this video, please give it a huge thumbs up and share this video if you like being awesome. Also guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.